Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, and we're specifically going to talk about, a hugely shocking statement from James Wyatt about Canon and what is Canon in 5th Edition, and it has to do with Fizbans' Treasury of Dragons. Okay. So I'm not going to bury the lead. I'll get you to the point real fast. Okay, James Wyatt was talking to Todd Kenrick about Fizbans' Treasury of Dragons, a book that we're still looking forward to coming out for Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition. And increasingly, I'm really, oh man, I'm just, you know what, let me get to the point fast. I don't want to get tangented here. Okay, so James Wyatt said, In Fizbans' Treasury of Dragons, we talk about the first world, okay? The first world is literally the first world of the material plane, okay? So Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition is embracing this concept of the multiverse. Well, what do they mean by the multiverse? Well, the multiverse is, all right, here it is. The material plane is connected to Faerun. It's connected to, this is, every single thing I'm saying right now is literally connected already in 5th Edition, okay? Faerun, Ravenloft, Ravnica, Theros, Eberron, those five Exandria, right? So that's 6 worlds that already have, they're all connected in the multiverse, and they're all on the material plane, okay? And so here's what James Wyatt said. He said, hey, check this out, right? Here's what happened. So the first world is there, okay, in the history of Dungeons & Dragons. And it is literally the first world. The first world blows apart. It explodes, right? And the first world explodes into a close to infinite number, a finite number, but close to infinite number, a huge number of seedling worlds, right? Specifically shards, right? So the first world is blown apart into shards. Each one of these shards is a seedling world, a world that is a seed, okay? And from that, from that first world part comes our canonical worlds. Yes, all right? So James Wyatt has added canon to Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition. Now, how do we know this? Well, recently, Jeremy Crawford said the only thing that's canon in Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition is are the hardcover core rule books, okay? Are the hardcover 5th Edition books. So that would include the core books, the 3 PHB, MM, DMG, the utility books, the setting books, and the adventure books, all right? All traditional hardcover books, okay? So you have all that there, and those are all canon. But now James Wyatt is coming in and saying, okay, I Scott Garibay, have a world called Thrycion. It's my own custom Dungeons & Dragons world, okay? I have run Dungeons & Dragons in this world, Thrycion, okay? In 5th Edition. Now, those were done at a kitchen table with about 7 different players across 2 campaigns, okay? James Wyatt is saying those are canon. They are canon to Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, okay? So he is stating that Fizbans makes your kitchen table game canon to Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition. That is a major, major statement, right? And it's an addition to canon that didn't exist before James Wyatt said it. That's incredible, right? Because James Wyatt isn't he's not some, disconnected schlub. He's literally connected officially to the Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition project, and he's a major writer on the Fizbans' Treasury of Dragons. So Fizbans' Treasury of Dragons is establishing that your world, your kitchen table game is canon in 5th Edition, right? Now, there's so much here. Why is this important? What does this matter, right? So one, canon matters. Okay. Now, rather than me telling you again why canon matters, if you don't know from a J. Scott Garibay perspective why canon matters, you'll find it in the doobly-doo below. Okay, so basically, canon is massive. So we have all of the traditional importance of canon, which is huge. It's a really, really big deal. Okay, so we have that there. We have this massively important, canon aspect. The other thing that's really interesting is it now makes us think about these games, right? So what's happening with Dungeons and Dragons games? Well, he's saying that whatever you're running with 5th edition is 5th edition canon. So the only difference, that's what James Wyatt is saying. So Scott Garibay, what I'm saying is that means the only difference between, between the material that's coming out in the 5th edition hardcover books and your own, and the scrawlings you have in your notebook, right? The only difference is reach. But this gets very interesting, right? Because in the old school kitchen table game, we are reaching everybody who's at the table, right? We are reaching everybody who's at the table, okay? But what about streamed games, right? So if you're streaming a game, 1,000 people could watch that game. In fact, I've been in. There are games online right now of me running 5th edition, and I have an Isekai game online right now. It has well over, I think it had probably at least 2,000 or 3,000 viewers, right? That's canon, and the reach of that is broader than we expected. That's huge. The ramifications are absolutely massive, right? It also gets kind of strange too, because there's still this very interesting thing of what is there's this very interesting aspect of who owns what, right? Like, do we own the characters we make in Dungeons and Dragons, right? Do we own the worlds we make in Dungeons and Dragons, right? And so what he's saying does get a little sticky, especially when you can't actually put, you have to abide by all these rules to make anything, and I think that's the difference, right? DM's Guild is what is official, not what's canon, right? There's a difference between what is official and what is canon, which is really interesting. But I just wanted to let you know, we have new canon information. James, and by the way, I will link to there'll be a link to what James Wyatt said down below as well. So really, really fascinating. I am just absolutely fascinated by this new statement that our kitchen table games in 5e are canon, and they carry as much weight as, like, if Kevin Baker, who created Eberron, runs an Eberron game using his official Eberron book. So My World Thracion is as much canon as Eberron is. That's incredible. We haven't even unpacked this, right? So, but we are going to start to talk about it. And so I just wanted to share that with you. I think it's really fascinating. All that's my opinion. What do you think? Are you excited that your games now carry the weight of canon and that James Wyatt's statement established that? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing. Have a wonderful millennium.